Hey, my Pilates people, welcome to my channel, Connect and Move. My name is Jessica. Today I have for you a lower body focused reformer flow. In fact, it's pretty much gonna be all lower body. No abs, no arms. In fact, we won't even be standing. No standing, no lunging, no standing on the carriage, and no kneeling either. Okay, I kind of challenged myself to do this today because I'm just trying to stay off my knees this week. A couple props that you will need. A ball, right? One of these like fit balls, little squishy ball, and then your reformer box, right? So those two things. And then the spring settings that we'll have or that we'll start with are 2 medium, a heavy, and a light spring. If at any point you need to make adjustments for your body, for your equipment, right, please do so. So once you have all of your accoutrements, all your bells and whistles, go ahead and have a lie back with your ball and let's get started. So your headrest is in your comfortable position, right? Make sure that you are centered on your carriage. Go ahead and place the ball between your heels or your ankles, somewhere in that area. So all 10 toes are on and you're either in a Pilates V, like a tiny Pilates V, or parallel. Kind of depends on how big the ball is, right? So take a moment here to just find your long line, to feel some energy out through your tailbone, but also out through the crown of your head. And then feel that same energy out through the fingertips, right? So arms are actively pushing down. And then you've got a little hug in on the ball here. So that's coming from the inner ankle bones, from the inner thighs. So on your next inhale, I want you to press the carriage all the way out, keeping the hug in on the ball. And then exhale, pull yourself home. So as you're going out and in here, I want you to imagine the ball not changing shape. And then feel free to reposition those feet around as need. Big focus here is those toes are spread wide. There's equal weight between the balls of your feet. And hopefully by keeping that hug in on the ball, right, we're starting to feel the inner thighs fire up a little bit here. Let's do 2. And last one, press the carriage all the way out. Take a moment to just let the shoulders and neck relaxed. Let's lower the heels under the foot bar, keep the hug in on the ball, and then lift the heels up. We lower, think back of the thighs, drag across the floor, and then the heels lift. So think pubic bone pointing at your toes here, so our spine is still staying neutral, or at the very least stable. Let's do 3 and 2. I think toes wrapping over and then back up, right? So stabilize through the heels, bend the knees, bring the carriage in halfway now. Booty stays heavy, and now lower the heels and lift the heels. Lower the heels and lift the heels. Notice if you're losing the connection on the ball. Remember, we're trying to keep it the same shape, same size, as our heels lift and lower. So for me, I'm noticing I really want to like lose that connection as my heels lift up high. It's really having to squeeze in. Let's do 3 and 2. And last one, now lift the heels up to where they're somewhere in the mid-range. And now you're gonna pulse the carriage out and in, out and in. Think of it as a push-pull. Remember the heels, right? It's like they're trying to touch one another. So hopefully you're starting to feel a little bit more seats, a little bit more legs kick on here. We have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Press it all the way out and then bend the knees, come all the way home. All right, so now take the ball in between your bunions. So imagine you had bunions, right? So they're gonna go in between the big toes, and now place your heels on. So your feet are flexed, and now you're kind of hugging in on the ball with your bunions, keeping your legs parallels, right? So they shouldn't look internally rotated. All right, so strong connection through your feet here. On your next inhale, press the carriage out. And here's where I want you to look at your feet right now. They should look like a number 11, but hugging in on the ball. And now bend your knees, bring the carriage home. which is really tough because I really want to go, like my knees want to come together, but right, we're not letting that happen. Now, if you had a really, really tiny ball, I guess that would happen. And you're driving right through the center of those heels. Pinky toes are still at the party, right? So every now and then just check on them. See that they're not wandering off somewhere. And the arms are still weighted down. The chest is still open and broad. Let's do 5 and 4 and 3 and 2. And last one, bring the carriage in halfway here and little pulses. All right, think of this work really coming from your seat or your butt crease muscles. And think energy out through the crown of your head. Hang in there for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and press the carriage all the way out. Resist as you come all the way home. Awesome. Go ahead and just take that ball, place it off to the side. And now go ahead and roll yourself up. And then we're gonna take off a medium spring. So right now I have a light, medium, and a heavy spring. So for balanced body, it's a red, blue, and a green. So I'm gonna lie all the way down. I'm gonna place my heels back on, hip socket distance apart. So stabilize through the spine, the pelvis, the upper back here. And now bring your right leg, bring your left leg up into tabletop. So still imagine that you had the ball between your bunions here. So find that same connection and now press the carriage all the way out and then bend the knee, bring the carriage home. So how square can you be in your torso here? Right, as we're up against this offset load. Right kneecap, or really both kneecaps, are looking up to the ceiling here. And that pinky toe is still pulling back. Let's do 3 and 2 and 1. Bring the carriage in halfway and little pulses here. Arms are weighted. That's going to help keep you from rocking and rolling all over the place. Anybody else feeling that front shin bone firing up for 3 and 2 and 1. You go all the way out first and then bend the knee, bring the carriage home. Left heel comes down, right leg up into tabletop. Again, we press it out and then resist back home. So each time we come home, remember we're still working to find length and opposition out through the crown of the head. Very controlled out and in. Make sure we're not slamming the knee on the way down, or on the way out rather. And find that bunion connection as if you had the ball still between those big toes. Let's do 4 and 3 and 2 and last one. Bring it in halfway, little pulses. So still think of that lateral border of the foot, that outside edge. It's still kind of lifting up or pulling back to you. A lot of times we like to roll out here. We've got 5, hang in there, and 4 and 3 and 2, longest pulses ever. Last one, press it all the way out and then bring the carriage all the way in. All right, now take your heels on wide on your foot bar, inch away from the shoulder blocks and drop your headrest down if you have it up. All right, weight down through the arms, equal weight into your feet. Take a big breath in, and then on your exhale, I want you to roll the hips up. Find the top of your bridge today. All right, really work the connection of your butt crease muscles, the pubic bone rolling back to your navel and your chest, trying to stay relatively soft and open. And then think of pulling the carriage home as you melt all the way down, massaging the back on the way down. If it feels better to do more of a hinge bridge, right, you do you. Again, roll the hips up, find the top of your bridge today, and then melt all the way down, down, down. All right, again, roll the hips up. Pause at the top. Again, work the tucking of the tailbone between the legs. And now we bring the knees together and then we open the knees back out. We bring the knees together and then open back out. You can always take the arms up to the ceiling. All right, but again, chest should stay open and soft. And what I want you to work on is the knees coming all the way together. Even though that might be like the frustrating, stubborn part, focus more on that. For 2, try not to let that seat drop. Last one, now bring the knees all the way together, right? Fight to keep them together. And now lower the hips down an inch and up an inch, down an inch and up an inch. Try not to let those knees separate, especially as you go on that up, right? That's where I'm finding they just really want to come apart here. Remember, pubic bone higher than your 2 hip points, y'all. For 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Open the knees back out and then round down through your spine all the way down. Go ahead and just grab onto the shoulder blocks here for a second. Bring your legs up into tabletop and then straighten the legs up to the ceiling and then bend the knees. Straighten the legs up, just open up the back body. And now straighten the legs up and now flex your feet and point your toes. Flex your feet and point your toes. For 3 and 2 and 1. Awesome, go ahead and bend the knees. Place the toes now down onto the foot bar, about hip socket distance apart. All right, so find a somewhat neutral position with the heels. Arms are weighted down. Take a big breath in. And then on your exhale, go ahead and roll your hips up into that bridge. All right, so from here, pubic bone stays high, and now lower the heels and then lift the heels. Lower the heels and lift the heels. Imagine you had the blue ball still between your heels. Notice, right, or remember where you wanted to lose that connection, right? That's where I want you to deepen the connection in that lower end lift. Hang in there. We've got 5 and 4. Check those hips, make sure they're level. 3 and 2 and 1. Now keep the heels lifted and now press the carriage out and then pull the carriage in. Press it out and then pull the carriage in. Last one like this. Now pull it all the way in, shift onto the arches, and now bring your left leg up into tabletop or straight up to the ceiling. You pick, press the carriage out, and then pull it in. Think of this left leg trying to lift up to the ceiling the whole time you're here. Keep driving the pubic bone up for 3 and 2. Last one, pull the carriage all the way in, keep the hips up, left foot down, right leg up, you got it. Press it out and then pull it in. Keep working the wheel of the pelvis back towards your navel. Again, find those inner thighs, even though they're separate. Arms could always come up to the ceiling. Let's do 4 and 3 and 2. Hi, baby. Last one. Pull the carriage all the way into the stopper. Place the arch back down, the other foot back down, and then round down through your spine, roll down, melt down all the way down. All right, take your feet wide. Doesn't matter where on your foot. And now just drop your knees off to the right. Look over that left shoulder. And then on your exhale, lift the knees up and over to the other side. Look over your opposite shoulder. Think like both knees could touch the floor right now. And then on your exhale, bring the legs back to center. Let's now go ahead and roll you up. and we're gonna change it to a medium spring, 1 medium spring. All right, so we're gonna lie down. And I want you to place your long loops around your thighs. If they cannot go around your thighs, then you're gonna place them maybe on your calves, right? Just somewhere not on your feet and not on your knees, okay? So arms are heavy here, and just try to get them in a similar spot where they can stay stable. All right, so around your thighs here, let's start with your heels together, toes apart, knees are bent. All right, so pin those heels together and now straighten the legs out to a working angle and then bend the knees back in. All right, stretch those legs out long and away and then pull the knees back in. Inhale, go out, and then exhale, pull back in. If it feels better to go parallel, right, you do you. And then back in. Now, straighten the legs out, hold them here. Now find parallel and maybe lower the legs down just a smidge more, but keeping your ribs heavy. I want you to flex the feet and point the toes. Flex the feet and point the toes. Flex the feet, point the toes. Last one, flex the feet. Now point the toes. Now lift the legs straight up. Straight up, booty stays heavy, and then lower the legs down. Lift the legs straight up, tailbone stays heavy, stick it out, and then lower back down, right? It's not a huge range here. We don't have nearly as much assistance. I say it's not a huge range for me, might be for you. But I'm definitely having to work harder to keep my legs straight. My legs are shaking right now, especially if you're tight. All right, now I want you to lift the legs up to your 90. Keep your legs razor straight. Open the legs out wide. They're gonna circle down and around, meet at the bottom, and then lift back up. They open wide, circle down and around, and then back up. Definitely way harder than actual feet in straps, right? Thighs in straps. I don't know if you can see these straps. They are shaking all over the place. So really try to open up through the back of the knees here. Last one. All right, now we reverse. Reverse, reverse. Think outer hips, open up the legs, inner thighs, bring the legs together. Check your neck, check your shoulders here. Think toes tracing across the room. Hang in there, y'all, hang in there. Last one, bring the legs up, hold here. I want you to flex the feet. Open the legs out wide, 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 and then pull the legs back together. Outer hips, open the legs. Push the heels out wide, 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 and then pull the legs back together. These are your side splits. Push the heels out wide, 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 and then pull the inner thighs back together. 2 more times here. And then back in. Keep those feet flexed. Open, 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 and then pull back in. Last one here. Anybody else's thighs screaming at them. And then pull back in, and then just bend the knees. Bring them into your chest. All right, so let's keep your right knee into your chest and just take your left foot down into the well. And then you can just pull your right knee in. And I just want you to find a little stretch on the top of that left thigh. And then just carefully switch, negotiate the springs, your equipment. So right foot comes down into the well as your left knee pulls in. The further under you take the foot under the carriage, the deeper that stretch should be. All right, now bring both knees in. Let's go ahead and take the straps off. All right, go ahead and hang up those loops. Let's now roll you up. Let's grab your ball again. We're gonna stay on this 1 medium spring. Ball is gonna go into your headrest. At least that's where I'm going for today. If you want a more challenging position, you can have the ball propped underneath your ribs and you're up into this kind of side plank position, right? That is not me today. I'm gonna be lying on my side. So take that top strap, the long loop, place it around that top arch of your foot. All right, so try to get everything stacked, right? As you straighten that left leg out, just hold it here. Maybe roll your top hip forward just a smidge and even look at it. Like I can even see my hip is way back there. So think of reaching past your foot bar here and feel how that might lengthen your waist and maybe lighten the ribs on the mat. This is what's gonna govern how far we can move the leg, okay? So keep the long waist and now sweep the leg forward and then sweep it back. All right, we sweep it forward and then sweep it back. This top hand, right? I'm sure you've done this side lying work before, so you pick if you want hand on the hip, shoulder block, mat, wherever. But we just did this, right? We just did this lower and lift. Now we're just on our side. So we don't have the feedback from the mat anymore. Let's do 2. And last one, now hold it here. Flex that top foot like crazy, all right? Think of the foot being against a wall. You're gonna glide the foot up the wall and then down the wall. So the higher up you lift the leg, the longer the leg has to be, or has to get. Think of leading with the back edge of your heel. So there might even feel like there's just a tiny internal rotation here. For 3 and 2 and 1. Now hold the leg at that hip height, kneecap still faces forward, bend the knee in and then press it back out. We bend the knee in and then press it back out, right? It's our single leg footwork. So keep working into your seat, keep lightness across or in your ribs. For 3, relax the neck. And 2, and last one, bend the knee in, and now I want you to take that strap and place it around your thigh. All right, once again, if it couldn't go there before, right, do your best or have it around your calf muscle, okay? Just not around the joint, please. Pin your heels together, okay? Hips stay stacked. I want you to open that top knee and then back down. So a little clamshell. Your bottom leg is actively pushing down into the mat. Right? Now, extra challenge, you can hover the heels up. I'm not taking that challenge today. Side lying and teaser is like, it's my kryptonite. But I know I need it. For 2 and 1. Now I want you to bring the knees together so that foot lifts up. Bring the heels together. Now bring the knees together. Bring the feet together. As you bring the knees together, lift that foot up high and then back down. Again, think long waist here. It is my bottom hip that is talking to me right now. For 3, hang in there. And 2. And last one, and go ahead and just lower that leg down. Awesome. All right, let's go ahead and do the other side. All right, let's straighten the leg out. Find the energy out through the heel. Think long waist, long hip. And now keep the hips stacked. And now sweep the leg forward. And then sweep it back. As the leg sweeps forward, think of the booty sticking out a little bit or like behind you. And as the leg sweeps back, think of the hip coming forward. It's just a little counter action cue. A lot of times we like to, the pelvis wants to move all around since we don't have all this feedback back here. This is my weaker side. You might have to see me tap out here. Keep putting work into the strap or like into the springs here. We've got 2. And the last one, bring the leg back in line with your hip here, or line in with your body. And now lift the leg up and then lower it down. Lift the leg up and down. Find the babiest of baby internal rotations. And you're trying to keep it as we lift. Remember, we're gliding it up a wall. Holy cannoli. Keep going. Don't stop on my count. Let's do 3 and 2. Long waist, last one. Hold it at hip height. We bend the knee in and then we press it back out. Bend the knee in and then back out. Make sure that knee is not dropping. It's staying right in line with your foot. Oh, this is definitely my weaker side. Try to relax the neck and the shoulders. Think of your top hip reaching to your floor, like up and over. For 3 and 2. And last one, bend the knee in and go ahead and take the strap onto your thigh, right, or wherever you can. Oh my goodness. All right, heels are pinned together. They're lifted if you prefer, right? That's a little bit more of a challenge, I find. And now we clamshell. Top knee lifts or thigh lifts and lowers. So really work the hug of the heels together, right? There's something very, very important between them. Oh, I can't stand these, by the way. Bottom leg is anchored, right? It is pushing down. Let's do 3 and 2 and 1. And now we separate the feet and then we bring the feet together. Knees come together and then feet come together. Knees come together, lift that foot up high and then back down. Check those hips, make sure they're not wobbling all over the place. So it is just a spiraling of the bone in the socket. If you guys have not had to stop at all, I mean, you guys are absolute just beasts. That's amazing. We can do 5. Check your neck. And 4. And 3. I'm not gonna be able to walk tomorrow. And 2. And last one. And lower that leg down. All right, take the strap off. Oh my goodness. Okay. We are done with the ball. So we can do away with it. Have a seat on your carriage. Take an ankle over the knee. And first start by just sitting up tall and think of the hip coming down, the knee coming down, and then just add a little like side bend or like kind of like a little sway from side to side. And just see where your upper body needs to go to feel a deeper stretch, right? It might be a combination of a bunch of things. Okay, let's do the other side. All right, so we're gonna finish with some work on the box. So you're gonna place one light spring on. So for balanced body, for me, that is a blue spring. And I'm gonna take my red or my medium spring off. The foot bar is gonna come all the way down. So if you have 2 light springs, go 1 heavier than your lightest spring. And then we're gonna place our box on the foot bar. But when you do, a lot of boxes have the handles on the long part. So if you do have a handle like this, I want you to place it facing away from the carriage. So it's going towards the foot bar. And then a couple more things, make sure it's not on the foot bar, it's kind of wedged up against it so that way it doesn't go sliding back. And then sometimes you might have to pull the carriage out a little bit so that way the box isn't sitting on the carriage, all right? So lots of things, but they'll be helpful when you get on. So I want you to have a seat on the box. Place your feet just somewhere on the carriage. Just make sure that they're parallel. And then we can always adjust from here. So you're gonna slide your body down. Let me fix my microphone here. I'm gonna slide my body down to where my head is on the box, right? And then I can reach back and grab onto that handle if I want. I like this position. Some people want hands up, maybe arms out to the side, hands on the hips, right? There's lots of different options here with your arms. So I want you to find yourself in this bridge position here, right? So pelvis is up, right? Take a look at your legs and see that kneecaps, thighs are pointing forward. They should look like a number 11. Now, let yourself exhale here just so your ribs and your chest can soften a bit, but still think of your pubic bone staying high here. There is a good tripod connection down through your feet, so maybe find just a hair more inner thighs. At least that's a reminder for me. And now just try to keep the carriage relatively stable and just melt your spine and your hips down towards the carriage. And now take a big breath in here at the bottom. And then on your exhale, tailbone curls under, and then roll the hips up to the top of your bridge. And then again, just slink the body down, down, down. Try to limit the movement of the carriage. And then exhale, roll the pelvis through and up, up, up. Last one like this. Slink the body down, all the way down. All right, so now we roll the hips up, find the top of your bridge. Good, now keep the pubic bone lifted, and now press the carriage out, and then pull the carriage in. I want you to keep your feet firmly planted on the carriage. So your big toes, pinky toes, they're gonna stay down, and even the big balls of your feet. So it's okay if the legs don't go straight, right? Don't worry, we will get there, I promise. And just every now and then take a look and see that the pelvis still looks relatively level, or your belly, your thighs, whatever. Let's do 2. And last one. Now when you bring the carriage in, I want you to let the heels lift, roll up onto the balls of the feet. Can you pull the carriage all the way in? If you can't, that's okay. Now, wherever you're at, I want you to feel like you're about to slide the carriage under you. Find this lovely thigh stretch, but keep driving your pubic bone up. And now as you press the carriage away, you're gonna roll through the feet. Toes, balls, heels lift up. You're gonna roll onto your heels. And then you again roll through your feet as you pull the carriage all the way under you. Heels are gonna lift, push into the balls of the feet to lift the hips up, and then roll back through the feet, press the carriage away. Now there might be a point where, like, when I get out there, I wanna straighten my legs, but my feet are gonna slide, so it's okay if you don't go straight legs. Or maybe you just reposition your feet to where you can. Really work that pull in and think knees driving past the toes or past the shoulder blocks there. What are you doing, boo-boo? And then back in. Again, slide the carriage away and then pull back in. Last one here. Pull the carriage all the way in. I lied, not all the way in. Feet go underneath your knees, and now lift the heels and lower the heels. We lift the heels and lower the heels. Again, try to steady the carriage and try not to let those hips drop. Imagine that ball is back between your heels. Anybody else feeling your seat firing up right now? We've got 3 and 2 and 1. Go ahead and place the feet down and then just bring the carriage all the way in, and you can lower the hips all the way down. All right, now bring the soles of the feet together. Knees are wide. Carefully come off the box. Grab onto the shoulder blocks, peg something here, frame of the carriage. And I just want you to pull your body forward here, getting a stretch in your hips, maybe your inner thighs, your back, and you can even add a little rock back and forth. All right, now I want you to come Z-sit with your right shin up against the shoulder blocks here. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and place both hands on the box here. All right, I'm gonna think of both hips trying to stay down to start, and I'm just gonna press the carriage out. Press the carriage out, and then just let your chest fall down into the well. Take a big breath in, and then on your exhale, just slink the body in, come all the way in. All right, again, press the carriage out. And now take your right hand, thread it under and grab onto the opposite frame or to the left frame there. And hook that right foot around. So you really deepen the twist. And then go ahead and come all the way in. All right, let's do the same thing on the other side. So flip you around, left shin up against the shoulder blocks. Be careful, it's a light spring. I'm going all over the place. All right, just go ahead and place both hands down. I mean, gosh, just this alone feels really good. And then if you'd like, you can press the carriage out. Let the chest fall down. And when you're here in these positions, I mean, wiggle the hips around and just see where you need to go to deepen the stretch. And then go ahead and just bring the carriage all the way in. Again, press it out. Left hand can come under if you'd like. And send your breath to those tight places. And then go ahead and just slink the body in. And I really do appreciate you coming for this one. This one was a lot of fun. And I hope to see you again. Thanks.